Welcome to AMC Accounting Made Clear, Premium Accounting for Apple Macs. In this short video, we will learn how to use the Easy Setup Assistant to customize our company file. Once you have created your company file, as per the last video, you will be looking at this screen here, which is the Easy Setup Assistant. If you have closed this window, you can always obtain it again by going to Setup at the very top and selecting the Easy Setup Assistant. This Easy Setup Assistant guides you through what you need to do in order to customize your company file to your requirements. Our suggestion is that you use these buttons from left to right and set up each of these separate areas. So the first area is to customize the company file. The second area is the accounts, sales, and then purchases. So we'll start off with customize. So we click next through that. It first asks us about the data entry. We can then select from the following options. I suggest leaving those as they are. Under Record Selection, we can decide whether we want to display the account name or the account number. Now by default, it will display the account number. Should you want to use the account name, you can select this tick box here. We have the same option for item as well, so that we refer to the item names, not the numbers. The item number could be like a catalog number or an item number. And we have the same option for our cards. That's our customers and suppliers. I'm not going to select those for now. It's up to you whether you want to work in that way. By clicking next, we can then decide which currencies we deal in. So if we just want to use our local currency, then we don't need to do anything else. If we are trading internationally, then we can set up multiple currencies. So by clicking I deal in multiple currencies, it tells you that this process cannot be reversed, and it sets up multi-currency for you. Now the local currency is always set to your currency that is determined by your Apple Mac. Now, if you have that set incorrectly, you can, of course, go in and edit the currency, the default currency. So in this case, I'm going to actually change GBP to be AED. So I can change the different descriptions, and now it becomes AED. I can then add any new currencies that I want. So maybe I want to add in US dollars. And I can obviously add in the exchange rate. So I would have to look that up. And we can then create our new currency. You can have as many currencies as you wish along here. The reminder log is where the system can automatically create a reminder for each one of these actions. So for every check, every deposit, every sale, and every purchase. So this leaves a trail for you to follow for each of these things. So again, you can select any one of those. I'm going to actually select all of those so that they make a reminder log for each of those. Under the aging options, it uses a standard aging period, so 30, 60, and 90 days. You can, of course, change that. And if you want to use the names of the months, you can do so as well, or even the numbers. I'm going to leave it with the default aging periods. And right at the very end of this little Customize Easy Setup Assistant, we have to then choose whether we want to display the to-do list when we first go into AccountEdge. It's always good to do that, as you'll always be aware of the current issues when you first enter AccountEdge. So by clicking Next, you've then finished this part of the Setup Assistant, and it takes you over to the next part, which is the accounts. So here you will see your chart of accounts, and you're able to go in and amend these. So if you decide that there are some accounts that you don't need, you can simply highlight these and click delete. So I'm deleting all the buildings, as maybe we don't want to have buildings in our chart of accounts. You can also create new accounts in your chart of accounts. So for example, maybe I want to create a new bank account. So I want to put it in here underneath the check account. So I need to make sure I have a free number. So 1-2111 seems appropriate. So I can click new, enter that in, and I have to obviously put that in as a bank account. And you can now see that my new account has been created. So I can go through and edit these accounts. Remember, you can always come back and edit those accounts whenever you want. Finally, we can enter in our opening balances. So we can go through and actually type in however much is in each of our different accounts and what our opening balances are. Remember that at the end of entering all of these figures in, we should have a 0 amount left to be allocated. And once you have finished that, that's the account section then dealt with. We now come to the sales. So we have to choose a default layout. There are 3 main layouts that you can see. There is service, item, and professional. Time billing is for when you are billing in time. Miscellaneous is for internal purposes. So if you are selling stocked items majority of the time, you then select item. If you are selling services, then you can use a service. So let's assume we are selling items. So we can select that as our default layout. We can enter in credit limits. So maybe we want to set a credit limit for each of our customers. We can then create the tax codes. So if there are tax codes that you need to enter, you can do so. So for example, I might enter in a standard. And you have to obviously apply that to your tax accounts. And then you have created your new tax codes. So you can have as many different tax codes as you need. You can select the payment information and also the payment due. So you can choose what you offer as credit terms to your customers as default. The linked accounts are all set up correctly, but if you wish to change your default bank account, maybe I want to select the new account I had created, that account, I can simply go through and select that account. I can then add any customers and historical sales, and finally finish. Under the purchases, I have a similar layout selection. I can then select a default expense account if that's something that's relevant. I can then add in any tax codes as well. Any payment information, this is again for your suppliers. And I can make my default account from which I pay from, my HSBC account. I can create any new suppliers and add in any historical purchases. So that completes the Easy Setup Assistant, and if I don't want to see this again when I next open up AccountEdge, I can then click this little tick box, and that completes our setup of the system.